hear me out. Like 2 months ago, I told you guys Ethereum is extremely undervalued. I specifically said Ethereum is extremely undervalued. I talked about how there was a Bitcoin mining company putting Ethereum on its balance sheet as a treasury. So they're literally buying Ethereum. They made this massive commitment to buy a lot of Ethereum. I told you guys that Ethereum was undervalued in comparison to Bitcoin. And I specifically said to sell your Bitcoin to start buying Ethereum. And now, I mean, ETH is up a lot. Now, we're looking at some statistics here. Ethereum is at $4,800. When I talked about it, we were sitting around like 2,500. And it's been one of the best producing assets when it comes to safety, right? Like safer assets, one of the best producing assets. I was talking to this one guy, super wealthy hedge fund manager. I think he was worth like 100 million, 200 million. I don't know the numbers, but this dude was big. And he was talking about how he was getting into tokenization and crypto. And I talked to him. I was like, he averages like 20% a year or something like that, which is not that crazy. But in the context of wealth management, yeah, that's crazy. And I talked to him. I was like, man, are you into crypto? And he's like, yeah, my biggest trade was Ethereum. My biggest trade, like the best, most wealthy trade this year was Ethereum for him. So a lot of like these richer guys, they're not playing with the low liquidity altcoins. They're playing with like the bigger, like Ethereum, big ones like Airdrome. I've been talking about Airdrome. I told you guys it was one of my favorite coins. Specifically, made a video on that. Look at Airdrome's price today; it's going ballistic. Look at in the past. I mean, since we made these videos, the point is the reason why I'm not like super smart. I always tell people this all the time. I'm not like a genius, bro. I've done my reps. I understand it, and I have a lot of confidence in altcoins. We see the same cycles happening over and over again. So Bitcoin's been dominating, but the potential for Bitcoin's running out a lot. Like if you're holding Bitcoin, it's probably not wise in the context of crypto because these altcoins are just going to do numbers. So today, Ethereum is up 15%. Now, what's also interesting with this pump that you guys need to pay attention to is the SPY. So the stock market is also up a lot, a big candlestick in the stock market. Now, this is important. This is so fundamentally important because it's not just a pump within crypto. It's a pump within the stocks and crypto. This is a risk on environment pump. We are moving a little bit more risk on. There's only two categories. There's risk off and risk on. Risk off are like assets that are like commodities. It's like wheat, Armageddon type of assets, right? Like buying gold, buying oil. Like there's safe wealth preservation assets people typically shift to when the world is uncertain, right? We are moving risk on. The stock market pumped today confirmed that. So the stock market pumped and Ethereum pumped, right? Listen, and Bitcoin's doing okay, but Ethereum specifically is wilding out. It's just going crazy. And so again, I say to you guys, we are moving risk on. I've been saying it for months. We need this. We need a risk on environment for altcoins to do well. Altcoins do not do well in a risk off environment. Some do well, outliers. But when you want to see the altcoin season that everybody keeps talking about, everybody's waiting for, and they're pissed off because it hasn't happened and they don't have any patience. I'm telling you, we need risk on. And when risk on happens, look, I've made many videos. If you guys want to look it up, there's a video called The Power Cycle. I'll link it above. I'll make sure Victor links it above. But the Power Cycle specifically talks about how like the altcoin cycles actually work in extreme detail, like really detailed. How does it look? How does it feel? What's the timing of it? How long does it happen? And from what I've seen is we have a general altcoin cycle that lasts anywhere from like 6 months to a year, but we have something called the power cycle. And the vast majority of the 100Xs that you guys know of today, including Solana and all the other big coins, they happened in the power cycle. And the thing about the power cycle is that it's literally like a month to 2 month period. It's a very short window, a very short window. So, look, I get it. It's been rough for some people. Maybe they haven't had the patience. Maybe they're pissed off because the altcoin season hasn't happened in front of their face, and they want it now. And I get it. Like, bro, it's hard. But when it happens, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen very fast. So you better be in the market. You better be putting in work. You better be patient. Now, I believe one of the main reasons the market's pumping, and again, it's something I've said a lot, is because of the Federal Reserve. So, specifically, from what I'm reading here, from what he's specifically saying, downside risks to employment rates are rising. So, essentially, the overall, while the labor market appears to be in balance, there's a curious kind of balance. This is unusual situation that suggests downside risk to employment rate are rising. Basically, bro, like he always speaks in like code. What he's saying is that unemployment can rise, downside risk. Unemployment can rise. So what that means is when unemployment rises, is something they don't like. So the Federal Reserve is like a PR company. I always say to look at it like a PR company. They say they want to keep inflation at 2%. They say they want to keep unemployment low. Why do they want to keep unemployment low? Because if the people start freaking out, like the specific people start not having jobs, people are going to, they're going to get upset and they start an uproar, which could lead to a panic and a run on banks. The number one attack against the Federal Reserve is a run on banks. That is the whole purpose they were created. They're the bank of banks. They don't want people withdrawing their money from banks. They don't want panic. That's what they don't want. So their whole thing is to try to keep the people calm. Because if you understand the dynamics of the Federal Reserve, it's not like sound money like at all. Like it's a Ponzi scheme. So essentially, their goal is to keep the Ponzi running. They want to keep the Ponzi running as long as possible, and so that's why I say they're like a PR company. So they see unemployment downside risk. He says downside risks to unemployment are rising, right? So essentially, what you guys got to understand is that he's basically saying he's going to probably print money, or in a case, not exactly print money, but lower interest rates. And we've been talking about this for a while. So lowering interest rates injects liquidity into the market. Please, guys, if you haven't watched last video, keep up. Like these videos go hand in hand. I'm basically documenting as I learn and go. So like, just not a one-off video. Like watch the other videos because I talked about what happens when they drop interest rates. I believe there's a new multiplier effect on interest rates that we've never experienced before, ever, with the Federal Reserve and specifically with the duplication of money through stablecoins. So we're talking about in our community, the Federal Reserve, right, lowers interest rates. When the interest rates are lower, more people borrow money. If more people borrow money, that liquidity is injected into the system. If the liquidity is injected into the system, assets increase in price. That's how this has always been. But there's a higher multiplier now through the creation of stablecoins. So we have the Genius Act that just got passed, which is a stablecoin, is specifically in law, like it's a stablecoin law, right? Where banks are allowed to create stablecoins now legally. A bank can do it. So it's the same entity that's been basically the mechanism to inject liquidity into the market. They have effectively just duplicated money. Because when you create a stablecoin, there's a multiplier effect on the stablecoin. If you put $1,000 into a stablecoin, there's 1,000 in crypto and 1,000 for the bank to use whatever they want. When you give them the money, like you're like, I want a stablecoin, they can use that money to invest into government debt. So there's a 2x multiplier effect, and there's a feedback loop to that. So my claim is, and I talked about it in the last video, we see Jerome Powell basically saying what? He's saying, hey, unemployment rate, there's going to be risks. We're probably going to have to print money. They put it on their economic projections. So there's a document called the economic projections that they come out with where they try to project what they're going to do in the future. And they put on their economic projections that they're dropping interest rates. If you go on the website of the projection of interest rates dropping, it's at 90%. It's like 89.4%. So the chances of them dropping interest rates are very high. But see, the thing is, what people don't comprehend is that this extra multiplier effect, they don't need to drop it by as much as they used to. Before, for them to inject liquidity into the market and for assets to go crazy like crypto and stocks, they needed to drop interest rates a lot. And to drop interest rates by 5 basis points and bring it down to 0, they usually needed a panic event. Listen to what I'm saying. And, we can go down speculation. I'm not going to go into that. But some people say that all these major economic crashes that came from panic events, like the 2008 housing market crash, the bubble, right? The dot-com bubble, and then the other one, I don't even want to say the word, that you guys know of in 2020. These events, some people say that it's because the Federal Reserve wanted to drop interest rates, and I don't know. I'm not going to go into it. These are definitely conspiracy theories. But what I would say is that we don't need that panic event anymore. I always thought we needed it. I was like, bro, like for the liquidity to come in the market, we need interest rates down low, like 1 or 0%. But with this new crypto mechanism, shadow quantitative easing, and these are high level stuff. Like I like to keep the conversation high level on purpose. I want you guys to actually learn. I don't want to give you the fluff. Like, so if this is a lot for you and that's okay, you could go to YouTubetranscript.com. Google search YouTube transcript. You could take the transcript of this video, and I always say this because it really does work. And take the transcript, put it into ChatGPT, and tell it to break it down to you on a 7th grade level, right? To really understand this. But like, this is some high level stuff. You got to listen to what I'm saying. There's an extra multiplier on interest rates. So personally, what I believe, and I'm not going to spitball numbers because nobody can predict this, but like to give you a perspective, when they drop interest rates by 0.25 basis points or like a half a percentage or whatever, before that wasn't as it was like a little bit of liquidity. Now it's like 5, 10x. Like there's an amplifier effect to that now because of this random new mechanism called stablecoins. There was 3 big crypto bills, and of the 3 big crypto bills, the first one to get passed is stablecoin regulation, and it was extremely quick. It went like almost right into law. You guys got to understand that this is real. Now, there's another thing with the Federal Reserve that I thought was pretty interesting as well, where essentially they have this framework where the goal for the Federal Reserve, the bank of all banks, is to keep inflation at 2%. That's their goal. Their goal is that they want to keep inflation at 2% for whatever reason. They pick that number, right? Now, if it goes above 2%, what they try to do is they try to jack it down really low, lower than 2% for a little bit to make up for the loss. So if it goes, let's say, to 4% for 2 years, they might do a situation, not exactly, but they might do a situation where they'll jack it down to 1.5 for that 2 year period of time to try to make up for the loss. And so it's kind of like this mechanism to where they try to get ahead of it. They officially took that out. So now they're just doing it at will. They don't want to make up for it. So it's kind of just a little bit of a posture of instability. Instead of trying to get ahead of it, now they're just taking it by ear, right? They're watching the market, they're seeing what's happening, and they're making it work. So I thought that was also interesting as well. And I don't have it here, but if you guys look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, I'm going to pop up in the chart right here. Look at the Bitcoin dominance. This is exactly what I told you guys. When it comes to Bitcoin increasing in price, which Bitcoin right now is increasing in price, like you better listen. You better listen to what I'm saying. Bitcoin's increasing in price. Ethereum is like doubling the amount of increase. This is a clear sign towards altcoins. And Bitcoin dominance is dropping at the same time. That 3 right there is like a golden cross for altcoin season, bro. If you're listening to what I said, like, hear what I'm saying, and I can explain it. I don't think there's anything else here, but I can explain it. Like, just think about it for a second, right? Bitcoin jumps up, but Ethereum is jumping up by more. Listen, Ethereum is what? Ethereum, specifically Ethereum, is the gas for altcoins. If you've ever bought an altcoin, chances are you're using Ethereum to be able to purchase it. It's the gas for altcoins. Ethereum was a smart contract, right, that created all the dApps and the applications. They have a very big stronghold on the market. They own like 95% of the market, like pretty much everything, 90%. They have all the liquidity, the developers, the ecosystem, the infrastructure. They won the smart contract game. So when they increase in price, there's a trend. There's 2 trends. Number one, people are accumulating ETH. And number 2, they're buying ETH to buy altcoins. They have to buy ETH to buy altcoins. Not the vast majority of the time, not 100% of the time, but most of the time. And so when we see Bitcoin increasing the price, Ethereum is beating it, and Bitcoin dominance is dropping while Bitcoin's increasing in price. And I mean, if you look at the structure, Bitcoin just turned a local previous resistance into support. When resistance turns into support, that's extremely bullish. So Bitcoin's bullish, but at the same time, Bitcoin dominance is dropping and Ethereum is doubling the percentage, maybe even tripling the percentage. I don't know how much Bitcoin is up today, but Ethereum's taking off, bro. And the Bitcoin spot ETF like maybe quadrupled the amount of volume in comparison to Ethereum spot ETF. When people start realizing the undervaluedness of Ethereum and altcoins in comparison to Bitcoin, bro, if you don't think those guys in the spot ETFs are not going to start dumping money into Ethereum, you're like, bro, with the 401ks, bro, think about it for a second. Trump just launched an executive order for 401ks. You don't think they're going to start accumulating? You think they're going to accumulate Bitcoin at the end of the Bitcoin halving cycle? Put 2 and 2 together. We have a recipe, like think about it. We have a recipe for a risk-on environment. higher risk. Bitcoin is more risk off. It's considered digital gold, long term stuff. It's digital gold. Just like regular gold is risk off, Bitcoin is a little bit more risk off. There has a risk on element to it because it is a cryptocurrency. But in the context of crypto, Bitcoin is the most risk off coin there is, besides a stable coin, right? So literally, we have a risk on environment. Bitcoin's running out of steam. Ethereum is, bro, I don't know how else you want me to explain to you, but it's like the proof is in the pudding. It's altcoin season time. We've been talking about it. I know people have been throwing that word around. I know people have to be patient. It's been a very patient game, but I'm not exaggerating. I don't know. Like, this is not an exaggeration. Like, altcoin season's here, bro. It's time to start paying attention. So I'll give a couple of recommendations and then we'll finalize this video. Number one, you need to make more money to dump into the market. It's one of the most important things. I do want to announce that we did launch officially a marketing product called Multiply. And essentially the whole purpose of it is to teach you how to content clip and get paid, but also it's going to teach you how to make your own content and generate your own brand. In the future, we haven't made it yet. We're going to be actually teaching you how to make your own community and maybe even launch your own coin, just like I did. So it's basically for people that want to build a business within crypto. We all invest in crypto. Hopefully you invest in crypto. But if you want to build a business and build cash flow, I'm going to leave the link in the pinned comment below. And I also say this too, when it comes to researching, there's really three, and if you've been keeping up with videos, you know this, there's really three major kind of like areas I look at, which is liquidity, team, and demand. And the thing about the demand is the most important. Out of the three, demand is the most important. And demand is made up of a narrative. A narrative is just a story. So these coins are just value capture mechanisms. Coins just capture public perception. So that's why you see the virality of the coins. It's not utility driven. If you're still stuck in the mindset that you think that these coins go up in value because of utility, unfortunately, somebody lied to you. These are not utility driven. It's the perception of the utility that drives it. It's the story behind the utility that drives it. Nobody uses these coins for real world, unfortunately, not right now. It will be in the future, but nobody uses bro, nobody. If somebody tells you that, I just don't. I think they're in La La Land. I think they're drinking the crypto Kool-Aid, and they're probably a little bit newer. And it's okay. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody that's watching this video. I'm being honest. Like, it's just beginner stuff. Like, they are all driven off of perception and virality, all of it. And so I say this, like, if you want to learn why coins go viral, you have to learn how to become viral. You have to learn how to identify virality in everything. And you have to identify the multiplication of value. This is what we talk about, the multiplication of value. You have to identify it. So the best way is to test it. And so this is why I'm so good at being able to, identify coins, because I know how to go viral. I've been making content for a long time. And so content is just very similar to a coin. So it's to me, I think it should be a standard for everyone, including researchers, to get involved with understanding content creation and things like that. And again, like I said, I'll leave the pinned comment below. It's called Multiply. I'll see you guys in there. We just did a live Q&A. It was really good. We're doing one live Q&A a week on the marketing stuff in crypto. It's basically how to go viral in crypto. If you're a coin project, anybody, coin project, doesn't matter. Clipper, I think clipping is unique. And the reason why I think clipping is unique is because it gives a person an opportunity of starting off with nothing to be able to generate an income and then also get a skill set that's extremely invaluable, which is going viral, and marketing is like one of the most valuable skill sets on the face of the planet. So it gets somebody from zero to be able to make like money and develop like a really cool skill set, which is like the demand side, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. In all, like, bro, it's gonna get real. Pay attention. It's gonna be really good. I hope you guys can take advantage of this altcoin season. It's gonna be really fruitful, and I'm gonna be taking advantage of it myself. And I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.